There is a sound every woman recognizes instantly, my friend. The sound of a man chasing. The texts sent too quickly, the laugh that lands too loud, the schedule bent around her availability. Most men spend their entire lives making this sound, never realizing it is the very thing pushing her away. But there is a different kind of man. The older man who has stopped chasing entirely, who does not pursue, does not perform, does not push, and somehow watches the right women turn toward him as if pulled by a gravity he himself cannot explain. Tonight, I am going to show you the 7 things he does instead. Stay with me to the end because the 7th habit is the one that changes everything. Let us begin. Instead of chasing, he cultivates. The first thing the older man does is shift from hunting to growing. A chasing man treats love like a hunt. He sees a woman he wants and he pursues. He strategizes. He plans. He tries to capture her attention, capture her interest, capture her affection. The entire frame is one of acquisition. He is going out into the world to get something. The older man who has stopped chasing operates from a completely different frame. He does not hunt. He cultivates. What does this mean? It means he understands that love and attraction are not things you can chase down. They are things that grow when the conditions are right. So instead of pursuing, he tends to the conditions. He works on himself. He builds his life. He cultivates his interests, his routines, his health, his curiosity, his depth. He turns his entire existence into fertile ground, and then he simply lives. The women who are meant to find him, find him. They are drawn to the garden he has built. They want to spend time in it. They want to walk through it. They want to taste its fruit. And he, for his part, does not need to chase any of them, because his garden is already full of life. And the right woman recognizes it the moment she steps inside. This is the difference between scarcity and abundance. The chasing man operates from scarcity. He believes there are limited opportunities, limited women, limited time. So he grabs at every chance. The cultivating man operates from abundance. He believes that a well-tended life will attract everything it needs, and he is in no rush because he is not running out of anything. When a woman walks into the life of a cultivating man, she does not feel pursued. She feels welcomed. There is a vast difference between the two. Pursuit makes her feel hunted. Welcome makes her feel invited. And the older man who has learned to cultivate instead of chase has discovered that women want, above all else, to be invited into a life that is already beautiful. Instead of chasing, he watches. The second thing the older man does is one of the most underrated skills in all of attraction. He watches. A younger chasing man does not watch, he performs. He is so focused on what he is doing, what he is saying, how he is being perceived, that he cannot actually see the woman in front of him. He is conducting a one-man show, and he is missing every signal she is sending him because his attention is turned inward toward his own performance. The older man has stopped performing. He has the spaciousness inside himself to actually watch, and what he watches is everything. He watches how she moves when she is comfortable versus when she is tense. He watches her eyes. He watches her hands. He watches the way her voice changes when she talks about something she loves versus something she only pretends to care about. He watches the spaces between her words. He watches what she does not say, which is often more revealing than what she does. This kind of watching is not surveillance. It is presence. It is the ancient masculine art of paying attention. And women feel this attention in a way that almost nothing else in the world can replicate. When a woman is being truly watched by a man, not stared at, not evaluated, but watched with curiosity and care, something happens inside her. She begins to feel seen. And being seen, real seeing, is one of the rarest experiences a woman has in her entire adult life. Most men have looked at her. Almost no man has actually watched her. The older man who watches does not have to chase because his watching does the work that chasing only pretends to do. His watching tells her without a single word that he is paying attention, that she is not invisible to him, that her subtleties register with him. And once a woman feels this, she will move toward him without him ever asking. Watching is the silent counterpart to chasing. Chasing pushes, watching pulls. And the man who has learned to watch has access to a force that no chasing man can ever possess. Instead of chasing, he lets silence speak. The third habit of the non-chasing older man is one that almost no younger man can even imagine. He lets silence carry the conversation. A chasing man fears silence. He treats every quiet moment as an emergency to be solved. The pause in conversation is unbearable to him, so he fills it. He fills it with stories. He fills it with questions. He fills it with jokes. He fills it with whatever he can grab from the air, because silence feels like failure to him. The older man has made friends with silence. He does not rush to fill it. He sits in it. He allows it to do its work. And here is what most men never learn. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in human connection. A well-held silence creates space. It invites the other person to step forward. It generates tension. The right kind of tension. The kind of tension that makes a woman lean in instead of pull back. When you do not fill every pause, the woman you are with begins to do something interesting. She begins to fill them herself. She begins to share more. She begins to reveal herself. She begins to step into the space you have left open for her because human beings cannot resist a quiet that invites them in. This is the secret of letting silence speak. The older man who has stopped chasing has discovered that he does not need to do most of the work in a conversation. He can simply hold the space, listen well, respond carefully, and let her bring herself to him. He does not need to chase her with words because his silence is already doing the chasing for him. And it is doing it better than any words ever could. A chasing man talks. A non-chasing man listens. And the one who listens always learns more, reveals less, and walks away with more power than the one who could not stop filling the air. Instead of chasing, he builds worth beyond her. The fourth thing the older man does is something he has been doing his entire life, often without realizing it would become his greatest romantic asset. He builds a life that is worth something independent of any woman. A chasing man treats a woman as the prize. He arranges his life around her. He waits for her texts. He cancels his plans for her. He reorganizes his ambitions around her schedule. He has, without realizing it, made her the center of his universe before she has even decided whether she wants to be there. The older man who has stopped chasing has built a universe that already has a center, and that center is himself. He has friendships that go back 30 years. He has a craft, a profession, a project, a passion that animates his days. He has rituals, Saturday mornings at the market, Sunday evenings with his oldest friend, the walk he takes every night just to think. The book he is reading, the skill he is sharpening, the pursuit that consumes him, whether or not anyone is watching. When a woman enters the life of this man, she does not enter a vacuum. She enters a fully constructed world, and she has the option of joining it, but she does not have the power to dictate it. This is profoundly important because a woman who senses that she has the power to dictate a man's life loses respect for him almost immediately. And a woman who senses that she is being invited into a world that exists independently of her develops an entirely different kind of curiosity. She wants to know about this world. She wants to understand its rhythms. She wants to find her place inside it, not on top of it. And the older man, by simply continuing to live his life the way he has built it, gives her something to lean into, rather than something to drag along. Worth beyond her is the masculine secret that chasing men never understand. The man who is worth something, whether or not she is in his life, is the man she cannot stop thinking about. The man who has made her his everything is the man she politely walks away from. Instead of chasing, he tests quietly. This is one of the most important shifts the older man makes, and it is one almost no one teaches. A chasing man does not test. He accepts everything. He overlooks red flags because he is afraid of losing her. He tolerates behavior he should not tolerate because he believes that if he is patient enough, accommodating enough, she will eventually choose him. He has put himself in a position where he is auditioning for her approval, and so he cannot afford to evaluate her at all. The older man understands that real attraction requires mutual evaluation. So instead of chasing her, he quietly tests her, not in cruel ways, not in manipulative ways, but in the quiet, ongoing way that mature people have always tested potential partners. He pays attention to how she treats waiters. He notices whether she is on time and whether she apologizes when she is not. He observes how she handles disagreement. He watches whether she is curious about him, asks him questions, listens when he speaks, or whether she only wants the spotlight on herself. He sees how she behaves when small things go wrong. He sees how she behaves when she does not get her way. These tests are not pass or fail moments. They are data. The older man is gathering information about whether this woman is someone he wants in his life. He is doing what every mature person does. He is evaluating. And here is the strange magic of this. Women feel it when they are being evaluated. Not in a harsh way, in a respectful way. They feel that the man across from them is not just trying to win them. He is trying to determine whether they are worth winning. And this feeling, this sense that a man has standards, has a discerning eye, has the masculine confidence to walk away if something is not right, is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can encounter. The chasing man broadcasts that she has already passed his test by virtue of him chasing her. The non-chasing man broadcasts that the test is ongoing, that she is being seen, and that her presence in his life is not guaranteed simply because she showed up. This is electrifying, and it is something no younger man has the patience or self-respect to do. Instead of chasing, he holds his ground. Here is the sixth habit of the older man who has stopped chasing, and it is one that fundamentally separates him from every man who came before him in her life. He holds his ground. A chasing man bends. He sees a woman he wants, and he begins to adjust himself to fit what he thinks she wants. He changes his opinions. He softens his preferences. He hides his quirks. He pretends to enjoy things he does not enjoy. He becomes, in subtle and not so subtle ways, a man who is willing to disappear in order to be accepted. The older man does not bend. He holds his ground with grace, with humor, with warmth, but he holds it. If she expresses an opinion he disagrees with, he says so kindly. If she suggests something that does not work for him, he declines without apology, without elaborate excuses. If she tries to nudge him in a direction that is not his direction, he simply smiles and stays where he is. He has spent decades earning the right to be who he is, and he is not going to throw that away to win the temporary approval of someone who has not yet earned a place in his life. And here is what is fascinating. Women do not respect men who bend for them. They may say they want a man who agrees with them on everything. They do not. What they actually want is a man who has the spine to disagree with them kindly but firmly when the truth requires it. What they actually want is a man whose presence is solid enough that they can lean against it without it collapsing under their weight. The chasing man bends, and in bending, he loses her respect. The non-chasing man holds his ground, and in holding it, he becomes the rare creature she has been searching for her entire life. A man who will not disappear into her. A man who remains himself, even in her presence. A man who can be loved without being consumed. This is the masculine ground that every woman in her deepest heart longs to find. And the older man who has stopped chasing has stopped bending. He stands where he stands, and she comes to him because of it. Instead of chasing, he trusts the process. Here we are at the seventh and final habit, the one that holds everything else together, the one that makes all the other habits possible. The older man who has stopped chasing trusts the process. A chasing man does not trust the process. He believes that if he does not push, nothing will happen. If he does not text, she will forget him. If he does not pursue, she will move on. If he does not chase, he will lose her. His entire worldview is built on the fear that the universe will not deliver unless he forces it. The older man has lived long enough to know that this fear is a lie. He has watched across decades how the things that were meant to be his arrived without him needing to chase them. He has watched friendships deepen without him forcing them. He has watched opportunities appear when he was not looking. He has watched love come into his life, leave his life, come back into his life, in ways that no amount of chasing could have ever produced. He has learned slowly and painfully that the things he chased hardest were often the things he was never supposed to have. And the things that were meant for him arrived when he was finally still enough to receive them. So now, when a woman crosses his path, he does not chase. He does not strategize. He does not panic about whether she will text back. He shows up. He is present when she is there. He is full of his own life when she is not. And he trusts with a kind of quiet certainty that only comes from age, that whatever is meant to happen will happen, and whatever is not meant to happen would have ended badly anyway. This trust is the secret behind every other habit on this list. It is what allows him to cultivate instead of hunt. It is what allows him to watch instead of perform. It is what allows him to let silence speak. It is what allows him to build worth beyond her. It is what allows him to test quietly. It is what allows him to hold his ground. Without trust in the process, all of these habits collapse. With trust in the process, all of them become natural, effortless, automatic. A woman feels this trust in a man more than anything else. She feels his calm. She feels that he is not desperate. She feels that his interest in her is real, but not anxious. She feels that he wants her, but does not need her. And this feeling, this profound sense of being wanted without being needed, is one of the most attractive forces in the universe. The chasing man broadcasts need. The non-chasing man broadcasts trust. And women have always been drawn to the man who trusts. So there it is, my friend. The 7 things older men do instead of chasing. They cultivate. They watch. They let silence speak. They build worth beyond her. They test quietly. They hold their ground, and they trust the process. But I want to leave you with something that goes beyond the 7 habits, because if you take them as a list, you will miss the larger truth they all point toward. The deepest truth is this: Chasing is what men do when they have not yet figured out who they are. When a man is grounded in himself, when he has built a life that he respects, when he has cultivated the inner certainty that he is enough, the entire posture of his existence changes. He no longer needs to chase because he no longer feels incomplete. He no longer needs to perform because he no longer feels invisible. He no longer needs to win because he no longer feels like he is losing. This is what age used well gives a man. Not wrinkles, not slower mornings, not the small frustrations of a body that has done more living than it used to do. Age gives a man the chance to finally stop chasing the things he was always going to receive anyway, if only he had let them come. The young man chases because he has not learned this yet. The older man does not chase because he has. And the women who matter, the ones who are worth your time, the ones who have lived enough to know the difference, can feel this difference from across a room. They can feel the man who is still chasing. They can feel the man who has stopped. And every single one of them, in her quiet heart, walks toward the one who has stopped. You do not need to chase, my friend. You never did. You only thought you did because no one ever told you the truth. The truth is that the right woman at the right time will walk into your life on her own. Your only job is to make sure that when she arrives, she finds a man worth staying with. A man who has cultivated, watched, listened, built, tested, held his ground, and trusted the process for so long that his very presence is the answer to a question she did not know she was asking. Be that man. Stop chasing and watch what arrives. If this hit something deep in you, leave a like. Subscribe for more truths about love, masculinity, and the art of becoming the kind of man women remember. And in the comments, tell me which of these 7 habits you are going to start practicing tomorrow. Until next time, my friend, stay still, stay grounded, and let the right ones come too.